all danced, and if you don't all dance anyway, give peace a chance.
Let me show you exactly how much of a psycho crazy bitch I can be.
And beyond.
You really do want me, I say, and you hate it. I change the angle of my knife so it's against his neck. He doesn't look nearly as alarmed by that as I might expect. Not nearly as alarmed as when I bring my mouth to his.
I wanna hold them like they do in Texas, please.
Yeah. That's the way every day goes. Every time we've no control. If the sky is pink and white, if the ground is black and yellow.
Oh my goodness, I love this question! I think
she survived the war but died during imprisonment while a surrogate in the repopulation program. She was a non-active member of the Order of the Phoenix and did not fight.
These are my opinions on the most hyped up fantasy books on BookTok and whether I think they are worth the hype. Of course, we're going to start off with Sarah J Maas. She is probably the most popular fantasy author on BookTok. Throne of Glass is definitely worth the hype that it's getting, although it did take me a while to get into the series. I do think it's a great one to kind of start off your fantasy era. There's a lot of romance in this as well, although that comes a lot more present in later books, and the magic kind of gets introduced again more throughout the series. It's definitely a commitment if you start this book. They just keep getting better though, so don't judge everything on the first book you read. A Court of Thorns and Roses. This book I think this is better than Throne of Glass in my opinion. Everyone has their different opinions, but I really like this book. This is a great introduction to fantasy, especially fantasy romance. The characters in this are amazing. I love this series. Definitely worth the hype. Crescent City, I'm actually currently reading this one at the moment, and so far I'm loving it. It is really different to her other books that I've read, and I know this is said to be a high fantasy series, but so far it's been very easy to understand, so I'll talk more about this one when I've finished. If you've ever been on BookTok ever, you've seen Six of Crows. This is one of my favorite fantasy books ever, so yes, I think it's worth the hype. The found family in this is incredible. The characters are so lovable and you just really connect to them. The plot and the magic system is unlike anything I've ever read before. I love this entire universe, the Grishaverse. It's wonderful. So yes, please read this. This isn't technically fantasy, it's dystopian, but I thought I'd include it in here anyway because again, this is seriously popular on BookTok. I read this for the first time this year. I read the series and I did like it. It's definitely not my favorite series. It's kind of just cool for me. It was an enjoyable read. Got me out of a book slump, which was great. But yeah, nothing incredible, but it's worth the read. Serpent and the Wings of Night. This is such an incredible read. Definitely worth all the hype that it's getting. A really different kind of magic system. I haven't read anything like it before. Very unique, incredible characters, great plot building and world building. I definitely think it's worth the hype. And last but certainly not least, we have The Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. Oh my gosh, this book is so worth all the hype that it is getting. It is such an incredible world. If you're a sucker for magic schools, you're gonna love this book like I am. If there's a magic school, I'm there. The characters, the dragons, oh my gosh, everything in this book is so worth the hype that it's getting. So if you're gonna take one recommendation, take this one.
So high where I need to come down on oxygen. Cause once we started, baby, ain't no stopping in.
I would die for her. I would kill for her.
Only you, my girl, only you, babe. Only you, darling, only you, babe. Only you, my girl, only you, babe. Only you. darling, only you, babe.
I love you. I'm in love with you. You're the love of my life. My every feeling is controlled by the look on your face. I can't breathe without you. I can't sleep without you. I wait for you. I watch for you. I exist for you. If I could escape all of this and run away with you.
I was unconditionally and irrevocably in love with him. Can I give you a big hug? I was unconditionally and irrevocably in love with him.
Thank you for your comment, first of all. Here is a little bit about all of my top fantasy reads of the year so far. The first one I will talk about is The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson. This is the first book in the Mistborn series. This is an incredible high fantasy book. We are following our protagonist Finn and a group of criminals as they try to overthrow the Dark Lord, who has been ruling their city in absolute misery for the past few years. This has incredible found family, wonderful characters, incredible plot, and very intricate world building. I gave this a 4.5 stars. Next is Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson. This is an incredible fantasy book. I gave this a 5 stars right off the bat. I loved it. We are following our protagonists Jace and Kazi. This is an enemies to lovers romance if you're into fantasy romance. The world in this is incredible. The storyline is very intricate. It's very action-packed and stuff. The characters just have such great growth throughout the book that I just really enjoyed it. So these all set in the same world. This is a duology, well, about to be a trilogy, and this is a trilogy. So Caraval by Stephanie Garber. Stephanie Garber's worlds that she creates are absolutely unmatched. I have read nothing that makes me feel as like reminiscent and as in such a magical like fairyland basically. So Caraval is about a game that takes place once a year. It is a week-long game with lots and lots of magic involved, and we are following our main character, Scarlet, as she tries to navigate her way through this game. This is a very magical game, and people kind of get brainwashed. Nobody is as they seem. I rated this a 4.5 stars. I love this world. It is just so magical, and you just get lost in it. It's a very fast-paced fantasy, so I definitely recommend. Once Upon a Broken Heart and The Ballad of Never After by Stephanie Garber. These are such magical books. These are the most magical books I've read this year. They're just so fairy tale like, so you just want to immerse yourself in that world and never stop reading about it. They're very fast-paced books. We are following our protagonist Evangeline as she makes a deal with the Fate. So the Fate are kind of these I guess the bad guys in a sense that you don't really mess with, and they have magical powers that can grant wishes. I just want you to know that this is the most magical book I've ever read, and Jax is probably, this is the Fate we meet, is probably the best character I have read about all year. Rated Once Upon a Broken Heart 5 stars, and the second one 5 stars as well. I'm gonna have to make a part 2, so go to part 2.
These are thriller books that I'm avoiding because I'm scared. Haunting Adeline. I've been on Book Talk long enough to know that there is a certain pew scene that scares me. The Mindfuck series. This is all 5 books. Part of me thinks that I'm going to absolutely love this series, and then part of me also thinks that it's going to scare me away from dark romance altogether. Run on Red. The first sentence of the blurb is what got me. A rural country road, no cell signal for miles, a terrifying game of cat and mouse. No thank you. Next is Behind Closed Doors. These are Callie's tabs, by the way. I think this one's just going to hit a little too close to home. So, last is The Silent Patient. This is about a woman who unalives her husband and then never speaks a word about it ever again. And it's about this therapist who is trying to get like her story out of her, and it just gets like sick and twisted. Callie was not a fan of this book. These are the books that I'm avoiding because they scare me, which doesn't surprise me at all. I'll get there one day, hopefully. I just joined Book Talk fairly recently, and I just got my first ever PR package. I'm so excited. I waited all night so that you guys could open this with me. All right, let's open it. Here we go. Oh, it smells good. What the heck? Okay, so the first thing in here is like a thank you note. Okay, so this is what it looks like on the inside. It's very black. First thing is a manly ass bookmark. That's what I'm talking about. All right, and then 3 stickers. This little box thing here. Dude, this shit came with magic lube. What the hell? All right, I'm assuming this is a wine glass. Whoa. Damn, look at that thing. This has to be what smells so good. It's like a bath bomb, I'm assuming. Vanilla. Okay. Okay. Just like me reading Credence. And last up, I guess there's actually a book in here. I didn't see it. It was like all the way on the bottom. So here is the physical copy of Ecstasy Unbound by Seta J. Well, that does it for my first ever PR box opening. I got the physical copy of the book and some lube. So I'm excited. I'd say that was a success. Don't forget the manly bookmark.
He's sitting there and he's watching the movie and he's perfect and he smells really good. What? He smells really good and he looks amazing and I am stupid. I said thank you.
Whoa. You said thank you?
When he kissed me. Wait, he kissed you again? What, is he just out of prison or something? No, not now. Yesterday at the store.
Oh, alright. Strike the prison comment. So wait, he kissed you and you said thank you?
What on earth could she possibly be lacking? Do you want bigger boobs or something? Is she not? She's not you.
What?
She isn't you.
Snowman's on top.
These are some of my favourite fantasy romance book recommendations. Start off with my most recent read, The Fourth Wing. This was incredible. We are following Violet as she navigates her way through Basgaith War College, which is a college that is separated into different quadrants, like the Scribe Quadrant and the Writer's Quadrant, which she is forced into. The romance starts off as quite a subplot, but it really begins to pick up about a quarter way into the book. Really addicting read, love both of the characters, and it's kind of bad boy, good girl vibes. Next is The Serpent and the Wings of Night. I'm sure you've all heard of this. This is set in a world of vampires and they're competing in this game. It's almost like a Hunger Game-esque, but in a fantasy world. This book isn't dystopian, it is definitely fantasy. Our main character though is humans, but the fantasy romance in here is one of my favourite fantasy romances I have ever read. It is quite enemies to lovers again, which is pretty typical theme for fantasy romances. I mostly loved the chemistry between these two that was kind of built up throughout the book, and it didn't feel like it was forced. It was a very natural kind of relationship. Next is A Winter's Promise. This is the first book in the Mirror Visitor series. This is very much a slow burn romance. We are in a world that has been kind of separated into floating islands, so the world that it's set in is incredible. Following our protagonist Ophelia, she has been forced into a marriage that she does not want to happen. So if you want a slow burn fantasy romance that also is incredibly beautifully written in such a magical world, please read A Winter's Promise.
Book mail, let's go, roll it. Get straight to the point. What can I say? Alrighty. Always gotta fish for the note first. It's like, sometimes it's hard. Hi Jacob, love to see that you're enjoying reading. I hope you enjoy these books as much as I did. If you already own any of these, just gift them or put them in a free library for others to enjoy. From Jennifer. Alright, Jennifer, let's see. Oh wow. She sent me The Dark Window. I have never heard of this book, but I'm excited to see what it's about. Looks like it's a fantasy, so I'm not in my fantasy era yet, but maybe this will get me there. Numero dos. That's horrible Spanish. Jeez. And I'm Mexican too. Oh my god. Yikes. Alrighty. Hi Jacob, love to see that you're enjoying reading. Hope that you enjoy these books as much as... Jennifer! Dude, it's the same note. It's the exact same note. Yo, Frida, you know it's good if it's a Frida book, and you know if you want to gift me something and you don't know if I'm gonna like it or not, send me a Frida book. I'll love it. I don't even have to know what it's about. So she sent me The Perfect Son, and there's another book in here, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. This was on my wish list. Thank you so much, Jennifer. It was on my wish list for a while. Let's try that again. Numero 3. That wasn't bad. 3 books. Holy cow. All right. So there's a bunch of notes here. All right, first note. I've heard good things about this book. Can't wait for your update on how it is. I don't know which book she's talking about on that one. I just got back into reading about 2 months ago, and I started off with Colleen Hoover books. Hoping you enjoy the read and happy to add to your growing collection. So that must mean she's talking about Never Never. And she also sent me Too Late. I'm so happy to have ended up on this side of TikTok. I love watching your videos and seeing both you and Callie thriving on this platform. You both seem to have such a positive outlook on life. Keep being you, from Kaylee. Thank you, Kaylee. So Kaylee sent me Too Late, Never Never, and The Stolen Heir. I put this on my wish list a while ago too, and finally got it. Thank you so much to all of you guys that sent me books. You know, I got a Frida book, some Colleen books, and a couple books off my wish list, as well as a fantasy that I've never heard of, but I'm excited to check it out. Thank you guys so much.
This is part 2 to my top fantasy recommendations of 2023 so far, and a little bit about them. So The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Cassara Broadbent. This was such a unique fantasy book where it's kind of very much like Hunger Games but with vampires. So if you're immediately intrigued by that idea, I promise you will like this. It is a fantasy romance, and we are following our protagonist. That's my dog. Our protagonist Aurea, as she has to compete in a game of life and death, basically. This was just, I loved the world that this was in. It was unlike any vampire book I've ever read before, and I'm a sucker for vampire books, so I gave this one a 5 stars. House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J Maas. This is the first book in the Crescent City series. I've always liked Sarah J Maas, but I haven't been like a diehard fan of her like so many other people. I do love her books though. But this was probably my favorite series that I have read of hers yet. I really, really enjoyed the world building. It's a modern fantasy, so it's unlike kind of anything that I've read else this year. This is a high fantasy technically, so it's a little bit harder to understand, but once you get past like the first 100 pages, it is just, you won't be able to put it down. It is so gripping. We are following our protagonist Bryce as she tries to track down a murder in her city. So years earlier, this murderer did something that hit her very close to home, brought her world to a crashing halt, and 2 years later, she's still hunting this murderer as they strike again. I gave this book a 4.5 stars. I've saved the best for last. The Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I gave this book straight away a 5 stars. It was incredible. If you're a sucker for magic schools, you will definitely like this book. We're following our protagonist Violet as she kind of competes entry for a magic school. This magic school has different quadrants, and she's trying to get into the Riders Quadrant. The Riders Quadrant is Dragon Riders. The enemies to lovers in this was incredible. So it's a fantasy romance, if you didn't know. Wonderful, really, really gripping read. Like, I guarantee you won't be able to put it down. It is so gripping. I cannot wait for the second book to come out in November. And I just loved the dragons in this. They were so well executed. I feel like it can be a little bit hard sometimes to get integrate mythical creatures into fantasy books, but she nailed it. I loved this book so much.
Check the shirt. Well, I'm in a fucking reading slump. And I have this stack here, and I don't know what to read next, so I need your guys' help. Please help me choose. All right, first up is obviously Fourth Wing. I've been attempting to read this for so long, but after Hooked, I just can't get into it. Then there's the Inheritance Games. The reason why I haven't started this one is because I just got it, but it sounds good. Next up is The Inmate. If you know me, you know I love me some Frida McFadden. Then there's My Fault. I don't know if I'm ready for this yet. I think I'm going to buddy read it with Callie, but she really wants to get started on it, so she might have to go without me. We'll see. Last up is the most terrifying book of them all, Haunting Adeline. Zach absolutely loves this book, and you know, I think I'm going to give it a shot. This is probably going to be my go-to if you guys agree with me. So that's all. Please help me pick my next read. I'm begging you guys.
I'm honestly kind of scared to make this video. This is my review of House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J Maas. I actually finished this a while ago, but I just haven't gotten around to doing a review on it. Let me start out by saying I absolutely loved House of Earth and Blood. I gave it a 4.5 stars. I loved the characters, I loved the world building, it was absolutely incredible. So I was really excited going into this book. I was ready for more of that world. And it kind of had a bit of a slow start to it, but I was like, you know, that's fine. I'm used to slow starts in fantasy books. Like, it always gets better. Like, you know, you hit a few hundred pages in and you just can't put it down. And I hit like 600 pages in, and trust me, I could put it down. I was really struggling to get through it. I think it was just the fact that there was not a lot of character building throughout it. I just feel like it was a very, very slow moving book that could have been packed into a lot less pages. And of course, if you love this book, I totally, like, everyone has different tastes. This was my experience reading it, and I feel like I was so hyped up from the first book that I was kind of expecting a lot more. The ending, however, did make up for a little bit of the slowness. I thought the ending was amazing. It made me excited for the next book, but I really feel like I didn't have to read how many pages? Like almost 800 pages to get to that ending. It was a real struggle for me to get through. So for that reason, I gave it a 2.5 stars to 3. I'm still deciding, honestly. I still really do love the world that it's set in, and I love a lot of the characters, and I am excited for like the story to continue. But I just was expecting so much more, and I'm so scared making this because I feel like there's such a big fan base around this book. And I understand ending, like I get that, but yeah. Anyway, these are just my opinions, so please don't take any of this to heart. I am very scared posting this. But yes, I did really enjoy the ending, but it was a very, very hard book to get through for me. I just finished Binding 13. About like 100 pages in, I kind of knew this was going to be a 5 stars. And yeah, it was a 5 stars. It was a 6 stars if possible. I fell in love with this series so much more than I was expecting to. As most of you know, I'm typically a fantasy reader. I love a good romance, but they kind of get me like to break up the fantasy I'm reading. But this was like next level good. I have never felt so attached to characters. Nothing was wrong with this book. Like, the emotions it made me feel was just insane. I haven't been this connected to a book in such a long time, and I am so glad I ordered the second one at the same time so I can just go straight onto it. Sad thing is, it's really hard to get Saving 6 and Redeeming 6, I think that's what it's called. In Australia, it's like very, very difficult, so I may have to wait until late September, which at the moment I don't know how I'm going to survive until then if I cannot read the series all at once, because oh my gosh, this was absolutely incredible. I feel like going into this blind made it like that much better for me. But the hype around this is so real and so worth it. It is one of the best reads of my year so far. Like I'm gonna go as far as say it's in top 3. Top 2. I don't know. I'm obsessed. This is gonna be my personality for the rest of the month.
So I finally decorated my Kindle. My pop socket took 78 business days to come. So this is my Kindle tour. Kindle sticker tour. Kindle tour. Alright, first I got a Zaddy's Girl sticker. I don't even know what that means. I stole it from Callie. Then we got Archer right here. Love him. Cool people read. I got this coffee mug from Morgan Elizabeth. And then, what up, I'm Jared. I'm 19. I never fucking learned how to read. We got my barbell pop socket. Hello, I'm reading. Go away. And read banned books. I think it looks pretty cool. Look at me. I'm such a book talker. I'm going to be starting The Inmate by Frida McFadden as my next read. The Inmate is about a girl named Brooke and her ex-boyfriend Shane, who was her high school sweetheart. And Brooke's testimony put him in jail for the rest of his life for a series of murders, I believe. But then Brooke ends up working at the prison eventually, and it becomes kind of like a whodunit. Like, did he actually try to kill her, or was it this other guy? In my last video, I asked you guys to help me pick my next read, and this is the winner. If you know me, you know I love my girl, Freida McFadden. She is my queen, and I will read anything that she writes, and I'm so excited to start my third Freida McFadden book. I'm starting to realize that I think my genre is thriller. I think that's just what I love. I like dark romance, but just Freida's books are all page turners. You know, you can't put them down. So that's it. I'm gonna start it today, and let me know in the comments if I should film my reactions to anything or anything you guys want me to look out for. It's book mail time. This one's gonna be a little shorter. I only have 2 packages, but one of them has 2 books in it. So we got 3 books to open. Let's get to it. Okay, so this first one is from Kelsey Ray. Okay, here we go. Don't Let Me Down. This is her new book that's coming out. She sent everybody in Literally Feral 1 copy. Inside she wrote, "Jacob, I hope you like hockey romance." And then she signed it and she said, "Yay for book talk." So you guys can see it. Woo! Thank you so much. All right, this is the 2 books. Let's see what we... I saw it immediately. All right, so we got the note here says, "I know you've read them, but you need your own copies on your cool new bookshelf from Cece." That's right, Cece. Just because I read it doesn't mean I have it. You know, I use Callie's big ass collection back there, but I need my own books. I got my own shelf. She sent me absolute gold in an Amazon box. Both house-made books. I loved both of these, and now I have my own copies. Thank you so much, Cece. That's it. Short video. Got these 3 books here, and let's go put them on the shelf. These are books that my girlfriend loves that concern me. Credence. Like, why? This one's about a girl who gets stuck in a cabin with her step cousins and her step uncle, and it's a why choose between the 4 of them. Like, gross, dude. Flock is another why choose with 2 brothers. Just like, dude, what are we doing? Where did our morals go? My Fault is straight up Credence vibes. I said it in all my videos. No. This next trope really concerns me. Charming Your Dad. Pretty sure she like summons her ex-boyfriend's dead dad and dates him. What? And we got Birthday Girl. Gross, dude. Then there's Praise. Like, why the dad trope? What is wrong with you people? Like, if you got a problem with me, like, deal with me. Don't go to my dad. Alright, well, if you can't tell, there's a pattern. The books that concern me are why choose tropes and ex's dad tropes. Disgusting. We got book mail. I was out of town all weekend. Came home last night to 3 packages. Let's get to it. All right, the first one. Got to get the note. I always forget the note. "Hey, Jacob, I'm so excited to finally get Heir of Broken Fate onto your bookshelves. If you want a book to get you into fantasy, this is the one. I hope you love the world of Al-Loria." From Mads Rafferty. So Mads sent me her book. We do follow each other, and she told me, like, I don't know, maybe like a month ago that she'd be sending me her book, and I finally got it. So I'm super excited to give fantasy a try. Okay, then we got, "Hope you enjoy and looking forward to your review," from Mariana Buffalino. What is this? Oh, this is Fallacy Entangled. This is from the author, and this is a paid review. All right, the last package. Let's get the note here. All right. "Hey, Jacob, you're always saying you wear the same hat in your video." Shut up. So here's a new one for you so you can change it up. "Have a great day." There's 2 notes. So hold on. The other one says, "Hi, Jacob. Also enjoy Freida as..." Bro. Tracy. Holy shit. Tracy knows me. She got me a Freida book and a new hat. Like, talk about a loyal follower. So first up is the Freida book. She sent me Brain Damage. Fuck yeah, I have like 9 Freida books now. Stay spooky. That's for you, Heather. Thank you to the 2 authors who sent me their books and the loyal fan that got me a Freida book and a new hat. I'm going to be starting The Summer I Turned Pretty, the books, and the show at the same time, or should I do one of them first? I've been seeing everybody arguing on like Team Jeremiah or Team Conrad, and I'm excited to see which team I end up on. Don't make me biased. Although I always end up picking the problematic side, like I'm Team Letter, bro. I didn't like Credence, etc., etc. Anyways, until further notice, I'm going to start the show ASAP, and I'm going to be starting the book as soon as I finish The Inmate. Update on that coming. I'm going to be doing vlogs of me watching each episode, so tune in for that. I know that one of my literally feral besties, Kylie, is Team Conrad. Hey, speaking of Kylie, I got to meet her yesterday. We had such a great time. We meshed really well. We made it out the group chat, so shout out to Kylie. Love you. Also, Callie put this tooth gem on my tooth right here. It's kind of sick.
These are books I will accept absolutely no criticism on, but I understand why they're criticized. Okay, number one is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. So I did a video recently of like my 6-star reads, and people went nuts criticizing this book. And I was like, okay, favorite read, but okay. No, it's fine. Like, everyone is allowed their own opinions, and I think that's great about reading. But the reason I'd accept no criticism on this is I just thought it was such a beautiful perspective on love, and it was so raw and real, and not a lot of books depict love that realistically. If you don't know, Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, we are following a Hollywood star, Evelyn Hugo, and we're through a kind of journalist perspective as she recalls her life as a Hollywood star and coming to fame during the 70s, the 80s, all that stuff, and her experience with love. Reason people criticize it is because they saw the twist coming, or they thought it was like a bland storyline, but to me the twist wasn't the reason. I read the book and loved the book. Like, so I understand why people criticize it, but no, I could never. I love this book with my whole heart. We all knew this was coming, but Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. I recently read this series, and I have been forever changed. It made it so hard for me to find good reads after this that actually keep me like involved in the story, because I am just so caught up on this book and my mind just doesn't leave this series, these characters. I'm so emotionally connected to them. If you don't know Binding 13, we're following two protagonists. This is a multiple POV story, Johnny and Shannon. Now Johnny is like a kind of renowned rugby star. I'm not good with sports. Rising rugby star that has so much like hope for his future, and he's like the best in the team, and he's got so much on his horizons. Shannon is just trying to get through high school. She has been severely bullied at her other schools, and she just transferred to a new school. There is so much character developed, raw emotion. I think there's a common theme with me not wanting to criticize books because there's just so much emotion in them. So I will never accept criticism on this book because I think it is perfection, and I do understand that people don't like the fact that Shannon is so small, but I think that is accounted for as you read through the book. Like, you need to know her backstory, and I understand that trope. I don't like it when the guy's really big and this girl's really small. Like, okay, but this story just is so well thought out, and I'm pretty sure we all saw this one coming too. The Magnolia Parks universe. I love this series with my entire heart and will never not, but I understand why it is criticized, because it is so toxic and so filled with drama. I am just in love with all the characters. The found family trope in this is so great, and I am sucker for that trope. Definitely look up trigger warnings before you read this, but the way it keeps you invested is unlike any other series I have ever read. There is so basically we're just following our two characters. They are upper class Londoners who just kind of live their lives in lots of luxury, but of course so much drama involved, and it's very much like Gossip Girl but London and better. So I will never accept criticism on this series because I am so attached to these characters and it has my entire heart. This is everything I read in August. We're just gonna do quick rapid fire reviews. I started out the month with The Wall of Winnipeg and Me. This is a football romance and it's kind of a workplace romance in a sense as well. This is a really great slow burn. enemies to lovers romance. I absolutely loved it. It was really quick. Actually, no, it wasn't that quick. It's a thick book, but it felt like I read it really quickly. It was just super easy to read. I really liked our main character, Vanessa. She was really cool, very relatable, which was nice. And I gave this book a 4 stars. Then I read Witches of Scotland. This was actually sent to me by the author, and this was just such a great little fantasy read. It's a very quick, easy, brainless but magical kind of read. I did really enjoy it. It's very small, and I gave it a 3.25 stars, I think. Then I started my reread of Heir of Fire. Now, I've read up to this book, but ages ago, and I still haven't finished the Throne of Glass series. So I wanted to reread this. I had read the first 2 earlier in the year, and I wanted to reread this to remind myself of what was going on. I really, really enjoyed it. Loved the chemistry between the characters. I feel like I don't need to say too much about this. This was a great read, another 4 star. Then I read Queen of Shadows for the first time. Yes, I know, they're different covers. But Queen of Shadows was so much better than I was expecting. I absolutely loved it. I gave it a 4.5 stars. It wasn't quite the 5 stars for me, but I still absolutely loved it, and it definitely got me more excited to finish the series. I'm just very intimidated to tandem read the next 2, so I've been putting it off. Then I read Haunting Adeline. And I am severely scarred from this book. I know it's a dark romance. I know I should have been expecting that, but I wasn't. I thought I was a dark romance girly. I thought I could get into it. I can't. I'm sorry. I know there's so many lovers for this book. I gave this book a 2 star at most. It actually scarred me. I just don't think I was prepared. So if you go into it and you're completely prepared and dark romance is your thing, I'm sure you will enjoy it. I wasn't. And then I wanted to be kind to myself and my brain, so I picked up a cute little fantasy romance, House by the Cerulean Sea. I had heard so many good reviews on this, and I absolutely loved it. I went into it quite blind, but I loved it. I gave this book a 5 stars. It was so cozy, and just it felt like a big hug. Oh my gosh, I absolutely love this, and I am in love with the characters in this. Such a beautiful, beautiful book. Technically, when I'm filming this, I am almost finished Divine Rivals. I will probably finish it tonight though, so I thought I'd include it in this wrap up because technically it's in the month of August. I am almost finished Divine Rivals, and I am loving it so far. I've got a feeling this is going to be, unless the ending like completely fails, it's going to be a 4.5 to 5 star. I am obsessed so far. I am in love with the characters. That's all.
These are my favorite books that are going to get you out of your reading slump. I finally gotten to the point where I've read a fair share of really, really good books. First up is Verity. You will not put this book down. You will not put this book down until it's finished. Y'all already know I'm Team Letter. The only negative thing I'd say about this book is if you get the hardcover, the back of it is terrifying. Alright, this is my heaviest recommendation. If you're in a reading slump, pick up The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. This book is a national treasure. And then when you finish that, pick up The Housemaid's Secret. It is the sequel. That girl Frida knows how to write a book. If you love a thriller with some mystery, these books are for you. The Housemaid series is like the typical series where you never know what's going to happen on the next page. Last up is Hooked by Emily McIntyre. Peter Pan retelling. 5 out of 5. I know I've only read like 8 books, but these are the 4 that I could not put down. So if you're in a reading slump, you gotta check these out. Also, Callie gave me this little tooth gem. It's pretty fire.
Okay, y'all, I am in my office and I have book mail. I did a little ordering from Barnes & Noble over the weekend. Nobody judged me. I mean, who's judging on this platform, honestly? I don't even know why I would say that. Ugh. Well, the judging part's gonna come here. I have not read this series yet, but I did see these on Barnes & Noble, and I am a member, so I got a little bit of a discount, and they were already on sale, so I did it. Look, I just was absolutely obsessed with these covers. They're beautiful. They're freaking beautiful. Oh my God. They're even prettier in person, obviously. I don't know what I was expecting. They did not have the third one for pre-order yet in this style. They had it ready for pre-order in the original covers, which I'm sorry, are not my favorite. But I will be getting that. My plan is to read these in January to be prepped for the new one. But they were on sale. I couldn't pass it up. Ooh. They're just gorgeous.